Well, it's kind of difficult for me to talk about that because the stuff that Dave Filoni and I and the writers of The Bad Batch discussed about what young Fennec Shand would be like and why she became a bounty hunter. I mean, we collaborated and we threw out a lot of threw a lot of ideas out at each other. So I don't know what will stick and what won't. So I'm worried that if I reveal something from that conversation that hasn't been explored yet or brought to life in the animation or in future episodes, either down the line in other venues. So I can't discuss that. I wish I could. Yeah. Well, I'm just foxy in general. No, it's interesting because I watched a lot of videos of foxes, especially fennec foxes, and there's a slinkiness to their walk, and they're loners, and they listen. I mean, the fennec fox has huge ears, so they're very, very alert and aware. And another thing that I attribute is that like Fennec can read people, or she thought she could read people really well, except for that one time with Toro. But he has no scruples. That's why. That's a whole other thing. But for the voice, I wanted to kind of give a little bit of that quality of her. So there's like a sort of a more elongated, slinky rhythm that came from the fox. And so when she talks, there's a little bit of an exaggeration and a stretching of words here and there, and whenever she does speak, it's there's a pointed reason for it. No, as a matter of fact, I had no idea, but boy, am I happy that it happened the way it's happened. When Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, offered me this role, I was really, really excited because my entire life has been trying to manifest this moment where I got to participate and be part of a Star Wars project. But then when I read the script and she dies at the end, I was just like, oh, that's kind of sad. So I wasn't sure, but then, you just realize, hey, this might be the only opportunity for me to participate. So I got to check this off my bucket list. And of course, talking to John and Dave, I mean, it's like, three people talking the same language because we all love Star Wars so much and are really knowledgeable about it. So I took the job. Dave directed, and we got to know each other better and discovered that we both grew up in the same town and went to the same high school. So I mean, I might have used that as a little bit of edge to try to guilt him into keeping Fennec alive. But I'm really hoping that it's between them loving the character and what I brought to it, as well as the fans' reaction to the character when the episode aired, that, that all this other stuff transpired. Anything, anything at all. Bring back the holiday special, whatever. I just, I'm excited about any venture into this universe. Of course, if I got to participate in a cinematic release of a film in the future, that would pretty much make me pee in my pants. But yeah, anything. I'm just excited to see the dolls and the toys that's going to come out. Like I hear that one of the Black series is coming out, and I've collected Star Wars toys since I was little, so this is insane. It's just unbelievable. It's always great. It's kind of funny. Jimmy O Yang says, well, it's not really by choice that I'm representing. It's just when you're born looking Asian, it's just going to be an automatic thing. So for me, I'm just grateful that there's been more characters that's been incorporated. You know, we have green aliens, blue aliens, and you know, what was lacking early on were Asian characters, and now there's been so many in Rogue One. You know, Donnie Yen and oh my goodness, the other actor, I'm blanking on his name. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm so sorry. I've been doing this all day, so I'm really tired right now. But you know, it's great, and I wrap, you know, even Temuera as part of this expansive Asian blanket. I'm I think it's wonderful, and I'm so thankful that the fans like her, and because as a big Star Wars fan myself, you know, it's just it's a gift. So I'm grateful, and I hope that this sort of success story will only encourage them to want to create more Asian characters. That is very interesting, William, because I feel like with FENNIC, you know, especially young FENNIC, she is good at reading people, manipulating, and playing a certain quality to invite herself into that particular person's trust. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how sincere and genuine her care for Omega is, you know, or if just she sees her as a bounty, and a gig that she had to fulfill. So that's really interesting. I appreciate that you think, you know, that there is this side of her. I'd like to think there is also a quality and a side to her that she connected with Omega in a certain way, but we'll see.
Next up, we have Mark Newbold.
Hi there. My question's kind of been asked already, so I'll pivot slightly. FENNIC of the Bad Batch era and FENNIC of the Mando era, do you consider them, I mean, obviously it's the same person, but do you play them as the same character, given that there's a lot of living to happen between the two iterations of FENNIC? Yeah. Do you play them as the same person, or are you kind of, you know, delineating between the two at this point?
Well, I kind of draw from my own, you know, this is what, as actors, we have to really draw from ourselves and infuse some of our own life experiences and soul to a character to bring them to life. And I know that the 22-year-old me is very different from, you know, me now, but at the same time, I'm still that geek nerd girl that every time I get on a new set and I see new toys and the Star Wars characters, I geek out and freak out like I would if I was a teenager. So those are the elements that I try to bring into the younger FENNIC. You know, there's definitely less experience, more ambition, more of a drive to prove who she is and make her mark in the world. So I think her energy and her focus and her tactics might be a little bit more raw and different. And I give her a slightly, you know, like a very slight little pitch change, but not too much, you know, because the difference between her and a seasoned FENNIC is in the energy. You know, I grew up, I came to the United States when I was younger, and I had to learn English and in third grade. And I think for me, science fiction and fantasy was always like a great form of escapism. And so I was already a fan of that genre. But when Star Wars came out, I had no idea what it was. You know, we didn't have social media back then. You just kind of hear word of mouth that, you know, there's another great movie out, and everybody was kind of crazy about it. The experience I felt, you know, from the moment the music came on and the scrolling of the story, and then that, you know, the big empirical cruiser going over our heads. As a young kid, you're just like, it's endless. It just went on forever. And I just knew I was in for an amazing adventure. And the connection I felt with, especially Luke Skywalker at the time, when he looked at the binary sunset. And I think this might be for all of us, that one moment, it's like 30 seconds of celluloid, but with the music and him staring out there thinking about, will I ever fulfill my dreams? Will I ever be who I want to become? That was me. I totally understood that, being a kid stuck in Pittsburgh. I mean, not that I was stuck, but I felt stuck, and wanting and dreaming about being an actor, and being Asian and being a woman and knowing the obstacles ahead of me. So I think it was just all of that. I mean, it became a religious experience, the whole thing. To really see, when we would see bounty hunters, most of them were either male or alien, nondescript in that way, and or in uniform, or I think it's kind of cool to see sort of this young civilian female bounty hunter who's able to kind of keep up, if not be feared by the others, and making a mark for herself. I think it's a great role model in many ways, for women, even though she's an assassin. I know, okay. That's a technicality. But, I love roles like that, where she's sort of an outsider, and yet she makes up her own rules, and she doesn't, she believes in herself. She believes in what she's capable of doing, and she's fearless in pursuing her goals. I do a lot of voice acting. Like right now I'm doing like 4 or 5 other animation projects. So the one thing that's difficult is like keeping all the characters straight in ways, because sometimes you literally go in and you're shooting, 4 or 5 episodes all at once, because they're just only doing your lines. And so that's difficult and different in wanting to bring something to life, and you have to do it very, very quickly. With live action, you have other actors to work off of. You have a set or sceneries. You have a director to help you, producers, writers. You have costume, makeup, hair. It's a full-on process. When you do voice acting, you could be in your PJs, and in fact, with the Bad Batch, because of COVID, they brought in all this equipment, the computer, they delivered it all, the microphone, everything, and I had to set it up in my home. And the only place that I found to be really good for sound buffering was in my closet, because of all the clothes. So I did the season of Bad Batch in my closet. So can you imagine, you have to like create this whole, like, bring this character to life with your imagination while you're surrounded by your clothes. It's pretty crazy. Oh, I'm gaga. I'm gaga over all of this. Every day I go on set, I'm just it takes me a little bit to like focus and work and be a professional actor, because I'm always having like these little moments of nerdgasms where I'm flipping out, and Temuera, bless him, he's less he's more even keel, so we're really good balance for each other. So when we were doing the book of Boba Fett, yeah, he definitely kept me calm.